Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to be looking at operations with mixed numbers, and it says all improper fractions can be written as a mixed number, okay? And a mixed number consists of a whole number and a vulgar fraction or a common fraction, right? So let's look at the equation here. It says thus a mixed number is equal to a whole number plus a vulgar or a common fraction, okay? Okay, so this here, let's look at this example here. We have, uh, right, we have 2 over 2 in this space, which is a whole square. And then we have half of a square here, which is a half. So if we add these two, this would be 2 over 2 added to 1 over 2. And if we wrote it in the improper form, right, we'd end up with 3 over 2, right? This is what we write when it's improper, okay? All right, so that's what we write in the improper form. But in this case, guys, we're going to write it in the mixed number form, okay? So in this case, we have this same, this whole block here is 3 over 2, right? And if we break up the block, it would be 2 over 2 plus a half, right? Right, but instead of writing this 2 over 2 and the 1 over 2 as 3 over 2, we're going to write it as a whole number, right? And a vulgar or common fraction. So we're going to write, for this 2 over 2, we're going to write 1, okay? And the addition here is the common or vulgar fraction, right? The common fraction, which would be a half. All right, guys? So this is how we write a mixed number, okay? All right, guys? All right, so this is what a mixed number looks like. And I'm going to give you some more examples now, okay? All right, guys, so let's give you some more examples here. Let's say we have 3 over 4 plus 2 over 4, right? So we'd end up with, both of them have the same denominator, so we'd just end up with 4 here, and then 3 plus 2, which is equal to 5, right? So we'd end up with 5 over 4. But we're not going to write the improper form. We're going to write it in the mixed number form. So 5 over 4, this would be the improper form, but to write it in the mixed number form, 4 goes into 5 one time and leaves a remainder of 1 over 4. All right, guys? So let's do one more example. Let's say we have 7 over 8 plus 3 over 8. So we're going to end up with 7 plus 3 over 8. So this would end up being 10 over 8, right? But we want to write it in the mixed number form. So 8 goes into 10 one time and leaves a remainder of 2 over 8. All right, guys? So this is what a mixed number looks like. Okay, guys? So let's do some examples. Let's do some examples and then we can move on to more difficult mixed numbers. All right, guys, so let's look at this example here. We have 3 and 2 over 5 plus 1 and 2 over 7. All right, so we're going to add these two mixed numbers. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the whole numbers, okay? So we're going to add 3 plus 1, all right? Separate and apart from the fractions. Then after we add these whole numbers, we're going to add the fractions by themselves, okay? So we're going to end up with 2 over 5, right, which is the fraction part here, plus 2 over 7, right? All right. So when we add this 3 and 1, we're going to get 4. And now we need to add these two fractions, right? Okay. So in order to add the two fractions, right, so first thing we do is draw a line, right? And we need to find the LCM. It's clear and obvious that the LCM is 35, but what do we usually do to find the LCM again between two numbers? We use the lovely method, right? Okay, So this is the lovely method. We're going to write 5 and 7, right? And then we're going to divide these numbers by the prime factors. Right, so 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, right? So can 2 go into 5 and 7? No. Can 3 go into 5 and 7? No. Can 5 go into 5 and 7? Yes. 5 can go into 5. So this will leave 1. And the 7, 5 cannot go into 7, so 7 remains the same. We'll do the same thing here. Can 2 go into 1 and 7? No. Can 3? Can 5? No. Can 7? Yes. So we get 7 here. 7 can go into this 7. And then you'd end up with 1 and 1. You should always end up with 1 and 1. Then the 5 multiplied by the 7 is equal to the LCM, the lowest common multiple of the denominators. Then 7 times 5 would give us 35. Okay. So this is the method I always use to find the lowest common multiple for the denominators. Okay. Now, in order to find the numerator now, we'd have to say 5 goes into 35 7 times, so we'd end up with 2 multiplied by 7 plus 7 goes into 35 5 times, so this would be 2 multiplied by 5. Okay, so we'd end up with 4 plus 14, right? 2 times 7 gives us 14, plus 10, right, over 35, right? So we'd end up with 4 and 24 over 35. And this is the answer, guys. All right. All right, guys. So great. This is wonderful. We can move on to the next question. All right, guys. So let's look at this second example here. It says 5 and 1 over 3 minus 2 and 3 over 8. So the first thing here we're going to do is we want to subtract the whole numbers, right? So this 5 and this 2, we're going to subtract the whole numbers. So we're going to get 5 minus 2, right? Then we're going to deal with the fractions, right? We'll have to subtract these fractions from each other. So we're going to put a plus here, right? Plus 1 over 3 minus 3 over 8, okay? Right, so you notice we subtract the whole numbers first, and then we add it to the subtraction of the fractions. Okay, so we deal with the whole numbers by themselves, and we deal with the fractions by themselves. Okay, so we're gonna end up getting 5 minus 2 gives us 3, plus this 1 over 3 minus the 3 over 8. We'll have to find the LCM, right? And okay, so we can go through the whole rigmarole, but it's kind of really obvious that the LCM is 24. Okay, 3 times 8 gives us 24. And yes, it's very obvious that that's the LCM, but let's just do the lovely method here. 3, 8, right? 2, 3, 5, 7. So first thing, can 2 go into any of these? Yes, 2 can go into 8, so we're going to get 3. 3 remains the same. 2 into 8 gives us 4. Can 2 go into any of these again? Yes. 2 can go into 4 again, so we're going to end up with 3 and 2. Can 2 go into any of these? Yes. 2 can go into 2, so we're going to end up with 3 and 1. Can 2 go into any of these? No. Can 3 go into any of these? Yes. So 3 into 3 gives us 1, 1. So we're finished. And to find the LCM, right, of the denominators, we're going to end up with 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, which would be 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and then 8 times 3 gives us 24. That's why I said it's really obvious, guys. All you had to do is multiply this 3 times 8, and you'd get the denominator. You can do it that way. I think that's the best way sometimes, but sometimes you really can just spot the LCM by just looking at the question. But you can always use the lovely method if you're not sure. Okay. Okay, great. So 24, 3 goes into 24 8 times. So for the numerator, we're going to end up with 1 multiplied by 8 because 3 goes into 24 8 times, and we multiply that by the numerator, minus 8 goes into 24 3 times. So we're going to end up with 3 times 8 goes into 24 3 times. All right, guys. So we're going to end up with 3 plus 8 minus 9. 1 times 8 gives us 8. 3 times 3 gives us 9 over 24, right? So we're going to end up with 3 minus 1 over 24. So what do we do now, guys? What do we do now? What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take out 1 over 24 out of this 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to break up that 3. We're going to take 1 whole out of it. So we're going to get 2 here plus 24 over 24. Now where we got this 24 over 24 from? This 24 over 24 is 1. All right, guys, it's 1. And remember, 3 is equal to 2 plus 1, right? So that's why we broke out the 1, right? And we put it as 24 over 24. Understand, guys? Now, when we get this 24 over 24 now, we can subtract the 1 over 24 from it. Cool? All right. So we're going to end up with 2 and 23 over 24. And that's the answer, guys. Awesome. All right, so let's look at another example. And don't worry, guys. We can do more examples, and we're going to do some questions on the problem sheet to make this as easy as possible. Okay? All right, guys. So we're going to do 2 more examples because I want to give you the multiplication and division example. Okay? So in this case, it says 2 and 1 over 3 multiplied by 5 over 14. So what do we do here? We need to multiply this mixed number by this common fraction. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this mixed number and we're going to put it in an improper form. So how do we do that? We'll end up with 2 multiplied by 3, right? So we're going to end up with 2 multiplied by 3, which would give us 6, plus the 1 here over 3. Okay? So that's how we change a mixed number back to its improper form. Okay? We'll always multiply the big number here by the denominator of the fraction. Then we add it to the numerator over the denominator, right? So that's how we end up with 6 plus 1 over 3. Okay? Now, let's multiply the 6 plus 1 over 3 by 5 over 14. All right? So this should end up being 7 over 3 multiplied by 5 over 14. Cool? And this 7 goes into this 14 2 times. So we're going to end up with, so there should be a 1 here. 5 times 1 gives us 5. And 3 times 2 gives us 6. So we end up with 5 over 6 as the answer. Cool? All right, so let's look at the next example now. So the next example says 2 and 5 over 8 divided by 1 and 3 over 4. So how do we work this one out? We do the same thing. We're going to multiply this big number. We're going to change this into improper form. So we're going to multiply the 2 by the denominator. We're going to end up with 2 times 8 plus 5 over the denominator of the fraction, which is 8, right? Divided by the same thing. We want this in improper form as well. So we're going to get 1 times 4 plus the numerator, which is 3, divided by the denominator of the fraction, which is 4. Okay? So this ends up being 16. 2 times 8 gives us 16, plus 5 over 8, divided by 4. 1 times 4 gives us 4, plus 3 over 4. So we'll end up with 16 plus 5 gives us 21 over 8 divided by 7 over 4. All right, so we're going to end up with 21 over 8. Since it's a divider, we're going to flip the right side. We're going to get multiplied by 4 over 7. So 4 goes into 8 2 times, and 7 goes into 21 3 times. So we're going to end up with 3 over 2 as the answer. All right, guys? Great. So we're going to look at some more examples in the worksheet. And thank you so much for tuning into this lecture. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. All right, guys? All right, guys. So that's it. And I'll see you in the next lecture. And remember to do your best, and God will do the rest.